Hi, digital artists. We are going to make a colorful artwork that shows highlights and shadow sides. And you can follow along with me to create this. So to start out, we will be using a square size canvas. And the first thing you're going to want to do is change the background color to a pink color. So it's kind of like a pastel sort of pink. Let me make sure that's bright enough. There we go. And now what you want to do on layer one, we need to draw our waffle cone. So to start off with, using a technical pen, you can use a black color if you like. I would like you to draw a triangle that is upside down. Um, Let me try that again. So I'm going to draw that triangle. I'm going to do that again so I can edit the shape a little bit better. I'm going to edit the shape, and then I'm just going to make sure that this is the triangle that I want. Looks good to me. I'm going to basically just center it. And if you notice when I move it to the exact middle, a yellow line will pop up. Okay. So after you do that, what you want to do is just go ahead and autofill that layer and alpha lock it. All right. Once you alpha lock it, change your brush to a Nico roll. Okay. Nico rule. It's in your painting section. It's right there. You can leave the size um, at about a 15%. Make sure your opacity is turned up. And I would like you to choose a light brown color for your waffle cone. After you choose your color, just go over that like that. If it's got some texture in it, that's completely fine. That's exactly what we want. Now I want you to choose a darker color, a darker brown, and lower your brush size to about a 5%. And what you're going to do is you are going to just draw some diagonal lines, okay? Like this. And then you're going to repeat the process by drawing lines going the opposite direction. So sort of like cross hatching a little bit. So now we have a waffle cone. Really simple, right? Next thing you want to do is we need to erase a portion of this waffle cone. So I'm just using a soft brush eraser and I'm going over the top of it with about a 40% size brush. And I'm just rounding it off like that, just to make it look like a genuine waffle cone. After that, go ahead and create another layer, and we are going to add on top our ice cream. So for our ice cream, we're going to use a paintbrush. This time, we're going to use Tamar. Okay, that's a pretty good brush to use, and it actually kind of looks a little bit like ice cream. So what I want you to do is we are going to find you can do a strawberry ice cream, you can do vanilla or chocolate. Just make sure that you're using a light color for, or sorry, a kind of like a darker color because we're going to put a lighter color on top of this. Turn your brush size to about a 26%. And on this layer, go ahead and add your scoop of ice cream, okay? And make sure your opacity is turned up as well. So I'm just going to add my scoop of ice cream like that. And then what I'm going to do is change my brush. I'm going to change it to a fresco brush. All right. And before I do that, or after I do that, I'm going to alpha lock this layer. And what I'm going to do is go to a lighter pink, and I'm just going to add some texture on top of there. So after I do that, we still need the sides of the ice cream cone. So what I would like you to do is add another layer, and I would like you to, choose that darker color. And for this layer, we're just going to add a little like curly bottom. Okay. So, when you get an ice cream scoop, you have this kind of shape at the bottom. That's what I want you to create. Okay. So just create that and make sure it's just a little bit darker than what you already have. Okay. Then after that, alpha lock it again. And we are going to use a lighter color. Decrease the size of your brush to about, 5% and just go over some of those areas like little circles like this, okay? to make it look like, you know, a scoop of ice cream. So I'm just going over that like that. And then after I do that, what I'm going to do is merge all my ice cream together. So I'm just bringing my things together and pinching that. And I'm going to decrease the size of my ice cream a little bit. After I do that, what I want to do is I want to add some eyeballs on my ice cream because my ice cream is alive and it's having a good time. So I'm going to add another layer on top of this. I'm going to change my brush to a sketch brush that is a soft pastel. That's going to give me these kind of fuzzy looking eyeballs. Change your size to about 8%. Change the color to white and go ahead and select the symmetry tool. So just hit the wrench bar, hit canvas, tap on your drawing guide, edit drawing guide, go to symmetry, and just make sure it's right in the middle there of your cone. After you do that, go ahead and draw your eyeballs, as big or as small as you want them, and then draw the little portion like that. So now we have a cute little eyeball. After you do that, you can turn off that symmetry tool because we won't be using that. Add another layer. And for this layer, we are going to use a clipping mask on this layer. So go ahead and for layer 2, just click clipping mask. And then what I want you to do is choose a soft airbrush. So go to airbrush and choose a soft brush. We're going to lower the opacity to about 35%. And you can keep this size up pretty large, okay? I have mine at about a 60%. After you do that, we are going to choose a darker color. And this time we're just going to choose black, okay? And then what I want you to do is go around this area like that at the top of the cone. And maybe you can get that eyeball, some of the eyeball too. And then the bottom of your ice cream. And also you want to show the little bit of the cones and things. You want some shadow there. So after you do that, all I'm going to do is use my magic wand tool, and I'm going to blend this a little bit using the Gaussian blur. And I'm just going to blend that out some just to make it kind of nice. And then I'm going to double tap on that layer and lower the opacity some because I want it to be in shadow, but I don't want it so dark that it looks a little bit strange. I'm going to add another layer, apply a clipping mask to that. Remember, every layer that you apply a clipping mask to will automatically go to the layer that is having the clipping mask applied to it. Next, choose a really, really light pink or a light color of whatever your ice cream is. And just go on the side of that ice cream and just add some of that light color. And then I need to actually make it almost white, okay? There we go, that looks a little bit better. And then I'm just gonna fill that in like that. And then on the side of my cone, I'm just gonna fill in a little bit like that. I'm going to apply the Gaussian blur. I'm gonna adjust that just a little bit. And then for that, I'm gonna lower the opacity some. After you do that, you can merge all those layers together because we're done with that part. And we need to create a background. So on a layer, create a new layer, or if you have a layer 2 open, use that. And just move that layer to the back of your ice cream, so just right below it. And then go into your brush and choose a vintage brush. We're going to go with Myrtle. Make sure it's turned all the way up to 100% opacity and also 100% for the brush size. And what we're going to do is we're going to add some different colors. So I'm going to start with a blue, and I'm just going to add a little bit of blue there. Then what I'm going to do is go to a red color. I'm going to add a little bit of red there. Then I'm going to add some yellow. And basically, we're just going to mix and match our colors. Then I'm going to add some green. And then I'm going to start with the blue again. And then I'm going to do the same thing, just repeat the pattern. And if your colors overlay each other, that's completely fine. After you do that, what I want you to do is apply a blur to this layer and just blur it slightly, just enough. Okay, so I have mine, I blur it about 5%. After you do that, add another layer um, on top of that layer. And what we're going to do is add our shadow. So you're going to need to change your color to black, and then you're going to need to choose a soft blend airbrush. And to add your shadow, all you're going to do is just increase the size to about an 8% and just draw in a little triangle. You're going to start at the point of your ice cream and then just kind of draw it in like that. Then after you do that, you're going to need to erase some of this. So all I'm going to do is just erase this and just make sure that the shadow is starting and stopping at the bottom of my cone tip, okay? So that looks pretty good. Then after that, of course, we're going to blur it. So I'm just going to blur that just a little bit. And then after I do that, I'm also going to lower the opacity because that's a very hard shadow and I don't need the shadow that hard. And then you are all done. You have created a interesting looking ice cream cone. So if you have any questions about this, feel free to reach out to me. I'll see you soon. Bye.